I was going to have questions because I have more. I just didn't want to.
Go.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I guess that there have been some confusion in the past, or there were a couple of AG's office opinions about whether those careless operation ordinances were legal because they reduced the penalty for similar offenses under state law. Specifically, if you were cited for careless operation, the state's law would be reckless driving, which requires 6 points. And so there have been a couple of AG's office opinions. Was the town aware that those opinions existed before deciding not to charge with the state's uniform traffic law and instead of going with
Those opinions
ordinance?
deal more, from what we've been told, with rewriting the citation on the local ordinance
Okay.
summons. That's what we were informed. Right now, the state law requires that the uniform traffic ticket, the blue ticket, be used for state violations.
Okay.
This is a state violation. It goes on the blue form. We code it differently. We're trying to help people out.
Sure.
And that's what we want everybody to understand. We're trying to help you out. We're not hurting the state in any way because they get the same amount of revenue from each citation. Now, I mean, so those opinions, from what we've been told, it was recommended actually, and I won't get too deep into it, that we go that route.
Okay.
And again, number one, in the interest of public safety, that's why we're doing that.
So you were recommended that you go that route. Can you say by whom you received that?
Legal advice.
Okay. Legal advice from the town's attorney? From...
Legal advice from, I won't get too deep into it, but I will tell you that we've consulted with probably one of the top legal minds in the state.
Okay.
We have a town attorney who is sharp as a tack.
Okay.
So we trust our judgment in them, and you know they've never let us down, so we've got to go with that.
And I think you sort of brought it up when you were talking there, but can you tell me how many tickets you guys wrote this past month, as far as citations go?
You know, I don't. We won't know that for quite some time, and I'll tell you why. Keep in mind, there's a big difference between the violations and the actual tickets.
Okay.
Now, we said in the very beginning, every violation won't get a ticket.
Okay.
We, again, in the interest of public safety, we toss more than we keep.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just say we can't identify the operator, meaning you borrowed your friend's car from college.
Right.
Okay. We can't spend a half a day trying to figure out who did that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get involved with trying to track down a complicated situation where
I understand.
a rental car, for example, that there's some checking into that right now. It just takes a lot of time.
Sure.
And again, the idea with this thing working, some of it's based on the citations being written, some of it's based on the fact of its mere presence.
Yeah.
Okay, now, to answer the question, I think right now we're running about 50% of the violations will generate a citation.
Okay.
The instructions from the town council at the time we implemented is, if there is any doubt, do not process it.
Sure.
So if you get one, chances are everything was in place. And the other thing is, we've had a couple comments about, well, the picture's not as clear as I thought. Well, the picture on the computer screen looks a little bit different than it does on the hard copy that's printed.
Not as great.
So what you see when you receive it might not be as clear as what the computer says. The computer is what would be in court with a law enforcement officer if it goes that route. But again, the instructions from the town council, if there's any possibility that it's not 100% accurate, send it out. Don't send it out. But I think right now we're running about 50%. And again, the pay rate, from what I was told by the ladies in the back, is running about the same as normal citations.
Which would be what?
I don't know that we keep those figures.
We can get it for you.
Okay, that'd be great, Jason. Thank you.
That probably takes a little time because you got to manually extract it. And again, you got to keep in mind, I don't think there's any jurisdiction anywhere. If they write 100 tickets, 100 is cleared out, properly paid. Some
Right.
go in this, some go in that, some
Right.
go through the state system where you report to them and this, that, and the other. We have a problem with a couple people that, let's say, have moved 3 times since they got their license 4 years ago.
Right.
That creates a problem there. And again, the staff can't spend 3 days figuring out where this person, moved the last 3 times. So that's why tickets are tossed.
Okay.
There are some where we had a couple on sunny days where the glare at a certain time might make it a little bit foggy. Can't identify me. And again, overall, The mere presence of this program makes it work, but the citations have got to be done. And again, our goal is to do whatever's clearly something that we can take through the whole process.
Okay.
Well, he's tough, ain't he?
Do you know of those drivers that are either violators or have been ticketed? Do you know how many of those drivers are out of state?
I would say the overwhelming majority is out of state.
Okay.
I don't know if we tracked that, probably what, 85, 90%?
85, 90%.
And again, you have to go back to who mostly travels the interstate.
Right, okay.
And I would think it's probably somewhere in that range. But that's a guess now, so that's not
Okay,
exact.
that's all right.
How many tickets have you written since the inception?
I don't know if we can extract that either, because sometimes there's a 2 and 3 month lead time here of when one starts, because, I mean, if you issue one today, the court date could be 4 or 5 weeks from now. Then you got all that, and like I said, that's why some of the state payments, when you see money going to the state in October, it could have been for August. That's just the way the system works. My guess is $3,000 or $4,000. And again, please, that's a guess, okay? That there's just no way that I'll put that as being exact, but I would say somewhere in that range.
And how does that compare to what you did before? Is that more
You know,
or less?
I would tell you this, I think the most simple way is the revenue sent to the state. That tells you right there that in the most recent month, which would have been the October money sent in November, the other one, we're a week or two out, the revenue is almost double going to the state. So
You could infer then that you wrote twice as many. Like from that, I think would be pretty
I
good.
would say somewhere in that ball field. But again, now, keep in mind that the initial revenue that goes to the state also includes, there's a lot of things written on uniform traffic tickets that are not traffic violations by state law. Possession of marijuana and things like that. Certain things and certain assessments differ. The general traffic ticket is pretty well the same, but for example, a DUI, I think, has a separate assessment that goes to a different fund, and a couple other things have separate codes. So it's not going to be exact, but my guess is by the time next month's figures are put together, you're going to see probably about double of what it was for maybe the year before, within reason.
Mr. Hodges, has there been any push to maybe get the town's codes online? When I went to the town's website, I couldn't find the codes, and since 85 to 90% of your drivers are from out of state, do you think it's a good idea to sort of get those codes online? So if there's a driver from Maine that's like, I got a ticket from Ridgeland, I want to see what I'm charged with. As it stands now, they can't find out online.
Well,
You think like,
usually when you get the ticket, it says in big black letters, speeding, 8707.
okay,
That's what it says. Now, the reason how it's coded, we get some to call here, we explain it to them.
okay.
And again, if they have a problem with it, we will gladly rewrite it. Nobody's asked for that yet, by the way.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Okay.
so,
You know, the big thing is, you come through here at 83 and a 7, you get a citation. It's not like we didn't try to tell you.
Yeah.
We got signs, we got speed limits, we got this, we got that. If you get that, you need to sit back and say, well, maybe, you know, I endangered myself, I endangered the people beside me, and so on and so forth. I was doing 83 and a 70. That's what they need to think about, and most of them do. Again, there's a very small percentage that have never done anything in their life wrong, okay? Now, even on the more traditional stuff, 2 years ago, or we'll still get a DUI once in a while. This person swears he ain't never had a drink in his life, and he blows .25.
Sure.
Okay, there are people like that, but the overwhelming majority, you know, they don't have that issue, I don't think.
Are you guys still doing sort of conventional traffic enforcement out on the highways? You guys still have guys out
Yes,
there?
sir, yes,
Okay.
sir. But we do that all over town, on Highway 17, on the main streets in town. On the streets, we target occasionally because we get a complaint, maybe we have a small section out on Beast Creek Highway that's in town. We'll do a little selective enforcement out there. And the local folks let us know. We'll get, once in a while, we'll get a complaint about between the crosswalks and the post office. So we'll focus on that a little while, and we do this, that, and the other. But again, everything else goes on as usual as well.
Yeah, and on the interstate as well?
Yes, sir.
You guys still have guys
Yes,
out
sir.
there? Okay.
And you'll see us more so on on holiday weekends.
Mhm.
I had some numbers here I keep looking for because I'm glad you brought that up. This is one of the, if y'all been involved with this type of reporting for a while, you know what happens nationally between Memorial Day and Labor Day. It's crunch time for the police. It's death trap time for the public because of the travel. Just to give you an idea, that some people need a little bit of help when it comes to driving on the roads. They just don't care. And see, the problem is, if you're out there and you're moving along 75 with traffic flow, you don't have any control over the lady or the man next door who comes by 20 miles an hour faster doing all this here. That's where our problem is. That's what causes a lot of the accidents related to speed. We had a program, everybody, the law enforcement network is law enforcement agencies in various regions of the state combine their forces to do certain things. The one we're in, we're combined with the adjoining counties around here in the Low Country. And about once a month, they go out and do a selective enforcement speed thing here, or they'll go out and do a selective enforcement thing with drugs over here or whatever. And we rotate between Hampton and Beaufort County and Jasper and so on and so forth. It involves the sheriffs, it involves the police departments and all that. So we work together. We did on Memorial Weekend, which was the first weekend of the summer traffic situation. It was Ridgeland's turn in the 14th Judicial Circuit. We had 30 law enforcement officers in the town of Ridgeland for this action. I think it was over 2 days. On Friday and Saturday, between the Ridgeland mile marker 18 down to Coosahatchee, which is mile marker 28, okay, 580 citations were written. 375 were on I-95 within just the town limits. The citation for the highest speed was 103 miles an hour. Of all the citations issued, the average speed was 88 miles per hour. Now again, 375 of the 580 were within the town. Now, there were 30 police cars on that little stretch of the freeway. We're talking, what, 11, 12 miles total? 30 police cars. 580 people didn't see them. One that went 103 apparently didn't see anything. But that's what's out there. And that's back to my earlier remark. I don't want y'all out there without some escort because it's dangerous. I don't even go out there. We took, I'll give you a point in mind here. We took a couple folks from the state that wanted to see the system out there. And one of them was shocked. Had no idea, you know, they've read about this, they've seen this, they know this, they know that until they really get there. Because what we were doing in the early going, if somebody that was involved up in Columbia with this program wanted to see, we took it to them. It's different seeing it in a parking lot than it is in its operational environment. We got one person down here who stood out there beside him for about 10 minutes. Cars, trucks coming by 80, 90 miles an hour. The RV would move, and you picture a policeman who makes a whopping salary of about $35,000 a year standing out there beside the freeway during this mess, filling out a form. That's crazy. When there's a better way to do it, that's crazy to subject them to that risk. This particular person was a state representative. It changed that person's mind when they saw the system, how it operated, and the fact that it's not really a good idea to have policemen standing out there filling out forms when you've got people that will come by at speeds that are just, you know, out of the world here.